the problem is just hearing what you said, man. Over here on TikTok, these FBAs over here be saying something totally different from what you saying, Tariq. Like
Well, yeah,
they
and
keep
I
the
always
whole
tell,
African thing at the forefront.
right, and I tell people there's 43 million of us, so people are gonna have different perspectives about the history. One thing we know, what makes us foundational is that we don't come from immigrant backgrounds. So if you identify as foundational Black American or Native American Indian, you didn't immigrate. You didn't come from an immigrant background.
I can't be the only one that noticed the contradiction in him speaking so much on immigrants, yet his main talking points for black people being in America prior to colonialism is the Olmecs, which is in Mexico, Luzia, which is in Brazil, and the Taino, which is in the Caribbean. So, like, make it make sense, which all these people just happen to have Amerindian haplogroups somehow. So, yeah, tighten up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
And also with the Native American thing, most foundational Black Americans have some type of Native American ancestry. We've been here way too long not to. Just
Yeah, studies show about 1% on average per genetic breakdowns, and only 5% of folks carry over 2% at all.
just like I was explaining in another room, when all of the European explorers came here, they all saw Negroid-looking people.
And that's my cue, because I've told y'all several times the word Negroid is outdated and obsolete. Comes straight from the 19th century racial pseudoscientific guys like Blumenbach and Morton trying to slice up humans into beings like Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid, Australoid. It's not biological. It's literally skull measuring bigotry wrapped in Latin. They talk about Negroid means dark skin, broad noses, thick lips, and markers of some primitive people. Look, it's all guesswork. Modern genetics already blew it up. Race isn't real. We're all mixed. There's no clean line. So by the 50s, anthropologists already ditched it. For a clinical variation, the traits blend gradually. There's no hard boxes. It's outdated because it's useless. We're claiming a slur trying to flip the script. But here's the problem. You're still using a fake race label trying to flip it to some moral polarity. Science says we all come from Africa anyway. Negroid, Caucasoid, whatever. So the whole taxonomy is a lie. You're not proving pre-colonial presence by using it. You're just quoting a dead racist. Better argument. Blackness isn't a skull shape. It's a culture, a survival story, a middle finger to the people who needed categories just to justify the theft of us.
That's how they described them. So there were Black-looking people on this land for thousands of years. That's been scientifically proven.
It has not been scientifically proven. No. Somebody dropped the name of the study, dropped the research where it's been proven like that black people was here prior to colonialism. It's not a thing. He's capping. He's a liar.
Logically proven, historically proven, eyewitness proven. All of the early scientists in the 1800s said this. They started changing the narrative a little later because when the land...
And how would you even know if your part was the one that was already here, if they already had African features like the ones that were brought here by as slaves, right? How would you know? Like a genealogy test cannot differentiate that. It won't differentiate that. So how would you even know? This is why I'm saying, like, you will never find intelligent people on this side of the conversation. I've not seen it. This is just the guy found a niche in a group of men that are lost and confused and destitute and decided to make money off of them. This is just a money grab. He's leading them down a rabbit hole. He's going to mess with their heads for many years, make them feel good on the internet while they are missing what is essential for living, like the normal things that they're supposed to do to have better lives. They're not doing because they're spending all their time listening to Tariq. So the same immigrants that have become their recent targets, you can't do anything to them. Some of us are this. Some of us are American citizens. You can't do anything. You can't. Some of us vote. We have the same rights and power to vote. And over 100,000 people become U.S. citizens every month from different parts of the world, plus. So this is not something that you can change. You don't even have the power to change that. And at the rate of growth that we are married and we're raising families and all that stuff, it's only a matter of time that these immigrant populations are going to outnumber them. They're already outnumbering them in income. Eventually, they will outnumber them in numbers. And I think this is where the other fear comes from. Because when you're not building families and a bunch of them are in jails and committing crimes and have all these records, there's not too much of an upside for them. So the internet becomes a safe space, and that's why they are crowded there. There's not really like much left for them to do but to hate other people, and that's it. And the science he's citing is for idiots. It's like the science with no publications and no studies to back it. They can never show. Whenever you ask him to show you those studies, they can never mention those studies because it's not real. It's not there. Anybody that looks like me has an African ancestry. Anybody that looks like me, because this is what we are. Anybody that looks like me has an African ancestry. And if you don't believe that, I can't help you. It's not like we were trying to claim you, or we're not trying to claim anybody. We may be different inside. But if you have the same curly hair, dark skin, need cocoa butter, yes, you came from the African continent.
Grants and all of that came into play. They said, oh, we can't let them know it.
Even Caucasians came at one point through scientific evolution, came from the African continent.
Exactly who they are.
He'll say anything, and when you dumb, you just can't sit there and take it. What land grant? Name the land grant. They said, come on now, tighten up, people.
So they had to start remixing everybody some more. So we really have to understand history and why they had to make us overly Africanized. And I'm not denying African ancestry. We do. Some of us, we have African ancestry.
So when he's facing a lot of pushback, he always says he's not denying African ancestry. But when he's amongst his people, if it's a space of just his people, then he denies African ancestry and says, well, some of us were already here. How do you know who was here? Like, what is the scientific methodology in structuring exactly who was already here? There is no way to do that. If they all look like us, and they all have the same genetic makeup as us, known as the genealogy of the Africans on the African continent, there is no way that you can make that claim. And that is why his theory just falls off. The only people that believe it and hold on to it are the dummies that don't have any education, like him, who dropped out of high school. Remember, the American education system fails usually K through 12, depending on where you live. If you're poor, you're gonna have horrible education. The public schools are not the same. The public schools here in Frisco are not the same as the public schools in South Dallas. They're like complete opposite of themselves, okay? Their test scores are different. They are just completely different. It's like first world and third world, like complete different schools, even though they're all public schools, right? So when you have a big population going through the most horrible parts of public education, they don't have the education to understand genealogy, geography, history. They don't learn these things, and they don't read. Some of them read sub-6th grade level. So it's very easy to target this group and make them feel good. And while you're doing that, take their money, because that's what he's doing. This is just a money grab. It's not like he's so worked up into black issues and he's done stuff for the black community. He doesn't even give back to the community. Nothing.
It's not no us. If it's some, like, you don't get it. If it's some, it's not no us. We have African ancestry. That's why we're African American. Like, you see how he likes to try to straddle the fence? He's talking to pretendians now. He's trying to play cool with them and then like admit that you have African descent because you have to.
But we've had an ethnogenesis.
Oh, I'll be making people so mad that words have actual definitions. Ethnogenesis, the process by which a group of people becomes ethnically distinct, the formation and development of an ethnic group. What's our ethnic group, people? You don't know. African Americans, black people, we are an ethnic group. We're called African Americans or black. It's synonymous. I don't want to argue that. The process by which a group of people become. How did this group of people become? We was all coming from ancestors who was forcibly trafficked from Africa, who went through chattel slavery, and then after that indentured servitude, we are their descendants. I call my grandma right now. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Ethnically distinct. That's the distinction. So you can't have three different origin stories, Tariq. You can't say that people are American Indians. You can't say that they came over here with Abu Bakr, and then you can't say that we're American because we're descendants of slaves. You can't do it all. I know you're trying to get as many fans as you can, but it don't work like that. It's a process and a distinction. Tighten up. Which one is it?
And that was the whole point. I was telling them everybody has some form of African DNA on the planet. Everybody. So
including the ones that were already here. Like, if everybody has, and some were already here, how did they get here? Through the continental divide, when South America and Africa split up, like that's when like some of them remain on that other side of the continental divide. We're really working with dumb, low IQ people here, like people that have zero intelligence, like not like these are people you should not say hello to. Complete idiots. I mean, I know the IQ wise, a lot of people on that side is just generally low, right? Just because of how America is made up. I've always known that. But you think that you should at least have the aptitude of a high school diploma to understand certain things. And now we're starting to see a lot of this is being exposed. And this is why these women even can't have relationships with them. You wonder why they're traveling overseas. They're trying to get away from such a beautiful country because they can't compete here for anything. They can't compete for women. They can't compete for jobs. They just want everything given to them. This is all connected, folks. It's not different. What they're doing are people that run away from problems that they've created. It's like shitting in something and running off of it because you don't want to live in your own poop. And I get that. Sorry for that analogy. But this is what is happening. These guys are a mess. Most of them, a mess. The mess that they've created is by them, not the white man, not white supremacy. They have created a mess. And it's become so hot of a mess that even for their dating solutions, they have to go overseas. And when they go overseas, they're not even in the right mind to date properly. They go there and they pay for box. It's well documented. You see it in their live streams. They pay for it and they talk proudly about it. So they're not even going there to get wives. And the ones that have remained here, they're not trying to get a medical education and become medical doctors or engineers. They're just on the internet complaining about the guys that are actually working, confused about their ancestry and their history. That pre-continental divide, some black people were already here. And so for some reason, they have African DNAs. You can't make this shit up, man.
everybody had an ethnogenesis. Everybody else's ethnogenesis is respected, but ours. And I brought up a point when I was talking to them when I went over to Fiji. The Fijians were jet black with afros. They talk about an African lineage going back thousands of years. They know that they came out of some part of East Africa. This is what they told
Yeah, Fijians are Africans. I've met Fijians. Fijians are African people.
me. But they've had an ethnogenesis. They became Fijian. So everybody, the Hawaiians, many of the original Hawaiians had Afroid features. Many of these Samoans, they still dark-skinned people with afros in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So all of these...
Yeah, that what he said there is not a word. In order to sound intelligent, they try to use words like ethnogenesis. They try to use scientific or Latin words to make the fools think that they are read and they're educated, but they don't really mean a damn thing, and they don't even understand what they're saying. It's just say a big word so that the fools that follow me think that I'm intelligent. And this is somebody that didn't finish high school, by the way. Didn't even get through the high school system.
These people with black skin and afros, their ethnogenesis is respected, but us, we're supposed
Yeah, y'all
to
ain't
just...
gonna lie. I don't know if this shit is comical or sad. Who's the most recent ethnic group to come out of Africa? He's talking about people who've been migrated out 65,000 years ago. Done been settled for millennia. Yep. We ain't been out of Africa but not even 500 years.
We're supposed to just sit here and be some generic African group, like we didn't have the same type of ethnogenesis even before the slave trade.
See what I'm saying, man? This dude don't know if you want to be a pretender or not. Make up your mind,
so that's the thing. We were always here. We were here before the red natives. We were here before the Siberian red natives.
So they were even here before the natives. So who brought them here? They made boats and they started sailing all the way to the Americas. You know how much time it takes, even on modern ships, today's modern ships, for those of you who have shipped things from the US to Africa on modern ships. The coast of West Africa is the closest coast to the United States of America, okay? Mostly around the Gambia. That will be Cabo Verde, and the Gambia would be your first arrival if you just mapping it out to be the shortest distance, okay? On average, for modern ships, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to sail today to the shortest distance from the Americas to the African continent, okay? Now, those boats that are made of wood, how long do you, that are actually powered, not engine powered, they are powered with paddling physically or the direction of the waves, okay? If you have been around the beach and the oceans, most of the times the direction of flow is to the shore. So it'll be very much of a daunting task to paddle these boats from the African continent to the Americas. Who brought those Africans here that were already here?
Native Americans. Why don't you see any red natives or red looking people anywhere else on the planet?